Hi there, folks. Hope you're doing well this evening. If we have not met before, I am Shelley. I blog over at Taming Frenzy, and I have normally done these live sessions over in the private Facebook group and decided that I would try doing them over here on YouTube. So tonight is our first attempt at that. It will either work really, really well, or it may just be a horrible, big, mixed up mess. Who knows? But we're going to give it a shot. Anyway, the topic I want to talk about tonight comes from a question that I was asked, and the question was, what if I am just naturally disorganized? Well, I heard that question, and to me, it was a very interesting question because it's something that I have heard people comment on all of my life. They would talk about, well, this person was just naturally born organized, things come very easy to them. Or conversely, this person's very unorganized, they've never been organized, they were just born that way. And I got thinking about that a little bit, and when I heard the question, several things actually came to mind. I actually read a few things into it, and they may not have been what the person asking it intended, but here was my take on it. When I heard that question, the first thing I thought was, this person obviously seems to be feeling some definite frustration, and that's what came across in that question. What if I'm just naturally disorganized? They're probably experiencing some frustration because things are messy, they're unorganized, they don't know where to start getting those systems in place to get things organized. They may be feeling some self-doubt because they are not confident that they have the skills that they need or that they even can acquire and put those skills into place. The other thing that I heard in that question actually was a little bit of fear that, oh my goodness, if things are a mess, are they always going to be a mess? Are things always going to be, messy and unorganized and topsy-turvy? And are they always going to be just this chaotic, stuff that I have to live with? So those were some things that I thought about when I heard that question that came across. But here's one other thing, and I don't mean this in a bad way. There's just a little bit of tough love here. Sometimes when people say, well, I'm just naturally disorganized, we have to be careful because that can become either a self-fulfilling prophecy or it can become an excuse that we give ourselves of why we're not putting things in place to get more organized. Not that I'm saying it is an excuse, but we have to be careful that we don't lean on that as a crutch, and let that become something that defines us. Here's the thing with organization. There's not a gene for it. No one has ever identified that some people, hey Brenda, no one has ever identified that some people have this particular organizing gene in their DNA and that these people lack that. It's not something that you're born with. The fact of the matter is that being organized is a skill, and it's a skill that anybody can learn. Now, that's actually good news for us because if it's a skill that we can learn, that means we can, start breaking it down. We can figure out, okay, what is it that I need to do in my kitchen or my pantry or the bedroom or the bathroom? What are the skills I need to put into place? And we can learn those and apply those. The other reason that's good news is it means that all isn't lost. You weren't automatically assigned the organized or the unorganized pile when you were born, and even better, you're not destined to have to stay there because it is something that you can learn. Organizing is a skill. It is something that you can learn. I agree, Brenda. It is definitely good news. None of us want to think we got put into an unorganized pile at birth and we're stuck there until, the end of time. That would not be a good thing. Okay. So here's something else with organized. A lot of times those people that you look at and sometimes we're envious of because we think they were just born organized. The truth of the matter is they weren't born organized. They may have been born to a mother or into a home where the other people were very organized and neat and fastidious. And so they may have kind of acquired some of those skills almost without thinking about it, almost, through osmosis. And so for that reason, people may look at them and think they were born organized. They weren't born organized. They may have been born into a home where people applied those skills and kept their home neat and organized, but they weren't born that way. Here's the other thing sometimes with those people. Sometimes we look at a home where it's very neat and fastidious and meticulous and organized, But you've probably known some people born into those homes, and they react usually in one of two ways. The first way is they embrace that organized atmosphere, and they embrace those skills, and they put them to work for them, and they incorporate it as part of their persona, and they use that the rest of their life. But there's another type of person, and sometimes the way they react to that is, and you know what's coming next, I'm sure, they're the person in who rejects that. They may have had a mother who was very neat, very organized, and they turn and go the opposite direction. They become more disorganized and more haphazard, and maybe a little messy and not so neat in response to that. But even the person who goes the opposite direction, they're not bound to have to be that way, for the rest of their life, because you're not born one way or the other. It simply is a skill. And hey, Holly, how you doing? The nice thing with organizing is it really and truly is like riding a bicycle. None of us are born knowing how to ride a bicycle. We had to learn the skills. We had to practice. You're not late, Holly. I think I may have started just a little bit early. But when we all get ready to start riding a bicycle, someone shows us. A lot of times they model it for us. Our dad may have gotten on the bicycle, and he probably looked a little funny because he was too big for the bicycle because we had a small one. But they show us exactly what to do, and then they put us on the bicycle, and they hold it steady and still while we can kind of practice a little bit holding the bars and pressing that brake pedal back when it was down on the feet, or pressing it if it's up on the handlebars. And then they walk along with us while we very slowly kind of begin to get the feel of how it works. And then they run along beside us, and we think, oh, wow, we're doing it by ourselves. And finally they turn us loose. But none of us were born knowing how to do that. We had to practice all of those individual skills. We had to have someone teach us, show us, model for us, and then run along beside us until we were at the point where they could turn us loose and we could ride that bicycle on our own. Same thing with getting organized. Okay. It's simply a case of, finding somebody to perhaps emulate, to teach you the skills, and then practice it until it becomes a habit. It's not magic. That is the best thing. And the thing I really wanted to tell this person who asked, what if I'm just naturally disorganized? It's not magic. It is simply a case of applying the skills repeatedly until they become a habit. And then at some point, somebody will look at you and think, well, they're just naturally organized. Okay. Here's something else that's a truth about those people that are always organized. And it's this: they're not always organized. Okay. The most together, organized, have it all just so person has times in their life when life is busy, when things are chaotic, when there's just more stuff tugging at your skirt than you can deal with. And they have times when things just kind of go to heck in a handbasket. That's just the way it is for everybody. But like riding that bicycle, once they kind of get past that busy, chaotic time, they crawl back on the bicycle or crawl back on the organizational little train and get back on it and work again. So anyway, those were just some thoughts that I had about that question. We never want to feel like we're destined at birth, that we either have characteristics or that we don't. And like I said, to this person who asked, what if I'm just naturally disorganized? I would say this: you can learn it. No one is born naturally disorganized any more than anyone is born knowing how to ride a bicycle. We all have to learn it, and we're all going to learn it at different times and at different speeds as we need to. So those were just my thoughts. Brenda, Holly, if you've got some thoughts, I would love to hear them. And I'm so glad that the commenting is working and I can see it. So that actually is a nice thing, because when I've done these live on Facebook, it's been hard for me to see what you guys have said in real time. So anyway, I would love to know your thoughts. For people who tune in and watch later, if you're having trouble getting organized, there are 1,000,001 organizing blogs out there. Find someone to follow that you relate to, that speaks to you. Follow that person, learn from them. It may be a blogger, it may be your next door neighbor, it may be your best friend, but find someone and start watching and emulating what they do, and just start putting those things into place. None of us become organized overnight any more than any of us learned to ride a bicycle in the first 5 minutes that we were on there. So it's something that we all can practice. If you are looking, I would love for you to go over and take a look at my blog. You can find it at tamingfrenzy.com. I've got several posts. That's pretty much what I talk about. Is I talk about getting organized, not only at home, but also getting organized in your life. In fact, my tagline is focus on the have tos so you can take care of the want tos. Because here's the thing with getting organized. It's a means to an end. None of us want to be organized just so we can, at the end of our life, on our tombstone, say, here lies a really organized person. That's not the goal. The whole goal of getting organized is so that you have the time and the energy, the physical and the mental energy, to do all those other really important things that make your life worthwhile and that make your life important and valuable and meaningful to you. So I'd love if you take a look over at my blog and look there. If you have any questions, you can leave me a message here. Will be interesting to see how YouTube does with tagging and with comments. But you can also find me on my Facebook page. You can find me in the private Facebook group. You can tag me. If you're not on my email list, you can get on that, or you can just shoot me an email at Shelley@tamingfrenzy.com. I really do answer emails when I get those, by the way. So feel free to shoot me a question. Oh, thank you, Brenda. I appreciate that. That's very kind. Yeah, we've had some fun over in the Facebook group. We actually had a kitchen challenge and we had a declutter game, and actually Brenda won our declutter game and was our little queen there. And I really it's been so crazy at my house the last month. I probably need to get back into that declutter, get that declutter stuff off. But the month of June is probably going to be just about as crazy at my house, I'm afraid. So anyway, that is all I had this evening. Like I said, tag me, leave me a message, come find me somewhere. I'm not that hard to find. If there's anything I can help you with when it comes to, helping yourself get organized, or just a little bit of encouragement that you're not naturally disorganized. You are not doomed to, feel disorganized and not together all of your life, even though everybody does have moments when they feel that way. Anyway, hope y'all have a great evening. Thank you, ladies, that joined me. If you catch this on the replay later, I'd love it if you'd hit the like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do me a favor. My channel's kind of sad now. You can hit that little subscribe button and tell your friends and have them come take a look as well. In the meantime, have a great evening, have a great week, and go tame a little bit of your frenzy, and I will catch you later. Goodbye. And now I got to figure out how to turn it off. Now, see, that's the thing when you go live, is then you have to figure out how to turn things off. All right. You have a good evening.